Hey guys! So, I've had a lot of questions about mental illness and how that plays into life and being spiritual and handling mental illness. So, I have a lot to talk to you guys about this. I want to first start out by talking about my story. So, when I was really little, my home life wasn't really good at all, and my dad is genetically bipolar, so I was predisposed to that, and I have extreme chronic depression and generalized anxiety, but it's more so social now, but it used to be over everything. And so this is maybe a trigger, so I'm letting you know now. If it does trigger you, if any part of this video does trigger you, then I hope that you can sit down with yourself and ask yourself why. I don't mean for this to hurt anybody or trigger anybody, but this is a topic that does need to be talked about. So when I was 6 years old, it was the first time I ever tried to really kill myself, and from then on, it was years. I didn't stop trying to commit suicide until about 15, 16 years old. I overdosed many times. I cut myself a lot. When I was 6, I tried to stab myself, but my sister saved me. And I've tried to drown myself. That didn't really work very well, though. But I am grateful that none of my attempts worked. And if you have ever tried to commit suicide, I am so grateful that you are here too. So, along with all of that bad stuff, I was so alone, but really it was because I didn't want to heal. By the time I was 15, 16 years old, I was still latching on to other people and not stopping and helping myself at all. I didn't really have people who understood me either. It took me and my mom a lot of therapy for her to actually understand what was going on in my brain, and that this is why I wasn't functioning very well. And at 16, I didn't know what to do. I ran away from home and did a bunch of drugs and threw myself away. I ignored my higher self for a very long time and didn't really care. I didn't care about my body. I didn't care about anything regarding myself at all. I was always latched onto other people, worried about other people, but did not want to worry about myself. I didn't even want to think about myself for 2 seconds. So, after treating myself horribly for such a long time, I realized that I was really hurting. I was hurting so badly inside, and I really needed to help myself. So, I really dove into therapy, and I changed my mindset. It took a very long time to change my mindset, but honestly, that is the most important thing in helping your mental illness is your mindset. And some people may just completely oppose that stance, but it's true, at least for me, and I have a genetic imbalance in my brain. And if my mindset can help me so greatly where I don't suffer, I have depressive spells and I get down some days and I still throw fits and such, but it's nowhere near as bad. And even when I get into that negative place, I'm able to pull myself out very quickly. It may take a couple days, but honestly, that is okay. This human experience is not supposed to be all fun and rainbows and all happy. It's supposed to help us live and just be okay with ourselves. And if you need to be sad for a day, take a day for yourself and just be sad. Watch sad movies and eat ice cream. do that. If you need to do that, then do that. So, a lot of my mental illness took place in my solar plexus chakra. So, an overview of the chakras is the root is for grounding and protection. The sacral is for reproductive and creativity. The solar plexus is for authenticity and your ego. Your heart chakra is for loving and balance. Your throat chakra is speaking, and your third eye chakra is for inspiration and intuitiveness and dreams. And your crown chakra is divine, calm, peaceful energy. So with all of these energetic centers, there are many different ways that they can become unbalanced. So mine, like I said, was mostly in my solar plexus chakra. And that was a really big thing for me because I did not eat well at all. I binged off of mac and cheese. And when I was basically homeless, when I had run away, it was maybe some saltines and maybe like McDonald's burger every couple days, but that was really it. Like, I drank water, but we didn't really eat all that much where I stayed. And, you know, that bad treatment really messed up my solar plexus chakra. But not only the physical aspect, but I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust anybody around me. I was not authentic. Like I said, I was always latching onto other people. I did not want to be who I was. I was not okay with myself at all. That is all deeply rooted in the solar plexus chakra and what it is and what it stands for. It was just completely shot for me. I had severe physical problems, but that also manifested in my mind. I was so hurt in my brain. And I'm going to talk about the gut-brain connection here in a little bit, but first I want to talk about genetic imbalances in the chakras. So, of course, there can be like genetic predispositions with so many things: cancer, autism, GERD, bipolar, schizophrenia. So many things can be genetic imbalances. So, I want to you think how it could have started as a chakra imbalance. Because the spiritual body and the physical body, they're one when we are in human form. So they collide and their energies collide. And if one is hurting, then the other is hurting. So when taking that into consideration, if I'll just give you an example, maybe centuries ago in your ancestral line, somebody was basically made so scared. Something happened to like their whole family, like during World War II. And they were put in a concentration camp or something, and they were terrified the whole time. That can really disrupt your root chakra, because that is all about safety and protection and being grounded. And if you never feel safe at all, then that can really screw it up. So then that can go on. That fear, if it's never let go in that lifetime, it can be passed on to the next generation. And then it just keeps going down and down the line. And that can happen with every chakra. So, with that being said, my father, like I was saying, he has bipolar, but he also has extreme GERD, which is located in his solar plexus chakra. same as me. So I can kind of gather up from that that could be a genetic chakra imbalance, because after I started healing my solar plexus chakra, I don't have GERD anymore at all. I do not experience anything that I used to experience. I used to have my throat close up every morning. It was painful to burp. It was painful for me to eat. I had no appetite whatsoever. I don't experience any of that anymore. And that's because I really took the time to heal my gut, but not only my mind. So, genetic chakra imbalances can kind of be fairly hard, but also fairly easy to figure out. With that, you can just start healing yourself. Don't worry too much about your past and your ancestors and everything, but worry about you and what's now. Finding the root cause of the problem is a good thing, and it can truly help you really recover that chakra, because if your ancestors were really put into a concentration camp and that is why you have extreme anxiety and paranoia now, that is a good thing to know, so you can work on getting over that. If you do have a genetic chakra imbalance, I highly recommend Reiki or past life regression therapy. Those things can help go back in time into your past lives and into your ancestral and get to the bottom of that genetic chakra imbalance and help you align it and let go of that fear and that negative energy stuck inside of you. So now I want to just go over some quick mental illnesses that could be manifested in each chakra. So anxiety comes from the need to control the situation. And that is because of fear most of the time. Not feeling safe or wanting something to be different, and that lies in the root chakra. There's a few different things that could be manifested in the sacral chakra, like PTSD. PTSD could come from sexual trauma, which directly affects the sacral chakra. It also depends on the mental illness that could be manifested in the sacral chakra, like the cause, was it onset, or is it a genetic chakra imbalance? The solar plexus chakra can contribute to the damage of the gut-brain connection and end up in depression or schizophrenia or bipolar. The heart chakra can really end up in depression and anger and negative self-talk and negative stuff. I also wanted to add one thing to the root chakra. The root chakra is red, so it's really associated with anger and with violence, alcoholism, and stuff like that. So the throat chakra I would say the throat chakra is with something verbal. Like if a child or if a person is non-verbal autistic, something could be wrong with their throat chakra, but it could also be wrong with their crown chakra as well. If you have extreme nightmares or hard time visualizing anything, if you see glitches in reality, and that kind of drives you crazy, that can spur on depression and schizophrenia specifically, especially if you have auditory hallucinations that can be linked with the third eye chakra. So the crown chakra can be, again, nightmares, depression, schizophrenia, really anything can manifest in the crown chakra because it's like the whole nervous system, so it encompasses it all. So really finding the root cause will help you determine which chakra is imbalanced, which can help you in return heal that chakra to heal your mental illness. So now I want to talk about gut health and mental health. So we all know that we have good bacteria in our guts. And probiotics and prebiotics are good foods to help keep that intestinal flora healthy. But when we don't eat very well, or we have toxins in our bodies, that can really contribute to an imbalance in that intestinal flora. When there's inflammation or a lack of that or an imbalance or anything, then bad bacteria begin to overpopulate our guts. So then our immune systems just get drained trying to attack that bad bacteria, which in turn causes more inflammation in our guts. And this is what happened with me. My gut was so inflamed. Every morning when I woke up, I felt like everything was just shutting down. I could feel the inflammation in my throat. It was that bad. Don't let it get that bad for you. So when the inflammation starts, other problems occur, and that disrupts the gut-brain axis. There's many different axes in our bodies. There's the hypothalamus pituitary ovarian axis for women, and there's the gut-brain axis, and just so many different parts of our bodies align with the other parts. So when the gut-brain axis is imbalanced, that causes so much disruption in the brain and brain development and in the nervous system, and it just becomes a wreck. And when I was treating myself so badly, I really was a mess. When I couldn't eat good, I wouldn't let myself eat good because I was just a mess everywhere. What I hope that you can take away from this is that not only do you need to heal your gut and continue healing your gut could always use some help, but also to heal the brain. You can't heal one without the other. And that's just on the physical level. You have to also heal the spiritual to be able to heal the physical and vice versa. So taking care of ourselves is so important. And there's so many little things that you could do every day to help your mental illness, your mental health. Self-talk is a big deal. And again, I used to have a really, really bad self-talk issue. It got to a point where I believed everything else everyone else was saying. And I treated myself horribly, not only physically, mentally, and spiritually, but I talked down to myself. I told myself, you're not worth it. You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. I starved myself because everybody told me I was ugly all the time. I pushed myself to do things I didn't really want to do because I shut my higher self off. I didn't allow connection. I didn't allow communication in my brain. And when it got really bad, the first time I ever went to a mental hospital, I gave in to that negative self-talk, and I told myself maybe it would be better if I just wasn't here. But that's not true. That's not true for anybody. We're here for a reason. So if you start to have negative thoughts, which is normal, it's okay, it's normal, check yourself. Take a minute and think, why am I having this thought? Is there an emotion that you have pushed down that has surfaced that has caused you to have this thought or feeling? There is a term in French which I really love. It's called l'appel du vide. And it means to call upon the void. And it refers to self-destructive thoughts we may have in passing. Have you ever driven over a bridge and thought, hey, what would it be like if I just drove my car off the bridge right now? Or if you've ever done or said something like that, like, what if I just crashed my car right now? What if I just burned myself with this curling iron or stove or something right now? When you don't really want to, it's not a legitimate thought that you really pay attention to or really care about at all. It's just a passing thought. This is normal. This happens in basically everybody. This is where a lot of self-talk comes into play. Because although many people can just see these thoughts and be like, what the fuck, and just let them pass, some people can't. And sometimes it may just linger a little bit and you're like, wow, why did I say that to myself? And you start judging yourself, or you really start thinking about that action. So that's where communication between your higher self and you really comes into play, because you need to think, why has this come up? Why is it lingering? What feelings have I suppressed? What feelings does this cause inside myself now? What do I need to deal with? Where does the energy feel? Like, where do I feel this? Sometimes you can feel an emotion in your stomach. Sometimes you can feel it in your brain, where you have just this major migraine because of how upset you are or angry. Sometimes you can feel it tingling in your hands or your feet. Notice where these emotions manifest in you. And then you can take on those emotions without judgment of yourself. Observe them and feel them and let them go gracefully. I have dealt with mental illness my whole life, and I know many of you out there have. I also have talked to many people in my time frame that say yoga does not help. Don't go outside. Don't listen to those hippies who say, oh, just do yoga, meditate, and go outside, get some sunshine, and eat healthier. Because those things don't really help. Go take some pharmaceuticals. Those will help. I personally don't believe that. I don't believe that in the least bit. Pharmaceuticals actually disrupt your brainwaves even further. So if you truly want to heal your soul, your spirit, and your body how it is, you need to leave it how it is and change your mindset. Sunshine, vitamin D, actually does help with mental illness. Omega-3s help with mental illness. Bioflavonoids, antioxidants. Yoga, the movement of the body, dancing freely, expressing yourself, drawing, meditating, prayer, being in tune with nature, taking a walk, doing exercise, sweating, eating healthy, taking probiotics and prebiotics and drinking kombucha. All of these things can help if you allow them to. If you completely shut your mind off to an idea, then it's not going to help you at all. If you are so broken in the moment where you need something, like a pharmaceutical, a drug, an herb, something, then take it until you can cope and get better. Go to therapy. Talk to somebody outside of your life. Good herbs for mental illness are California poppy, skullcap, St. John's wort, lemon balm, lavender, chamomile. valerian, vervain, mimosa, rose. There's so many options out there for you naturally. The way natural herbs help us is they help our bodies, our nervous systems, our immune systems function normally and naturally, and they help align our brain waves, whereas pharmaceuticals kind of just shut pathways off and they help you in the moment, but long term will most likely cause many other problems, which will cause more problems. Don't fall into the cycle of problems. Talk to a therapist or psychologist. Help yourself change your mindset. I really hope this video has given you some ideas or helped you in any way. I wish you such a blessed day.